Hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate Right Now. We talk about real estate matters that matter to you. My name is Jay Izzo, and we are live here from Linda Craft Team Studios here in Raleigh, North Carolina, part of the Greater Research Triangle Park. Today's show. You know, if you're a first-time home buyer, there's bound to be some repairs you're going to have to do. Many of you go and you're buying a home, even if you're not a first-time home buyer, and you get this inspection report. And the inspection report looks incredibly daunting. And you go, oh my gosh, what have I purchased? And all of a sudden the emotional panic sets in. And you go, oh, this is going to cost me $1 trillion because you've over exaggerated how much all this stuff is. And we need to bring some common sense back to the table. So what we've done is we've brought in the man. His name's James IaDanza. He owns James IaDanza. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Jay. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is going to be fun.
I appreciate it.
So before we get into all this stuff,
sure,
that I've talked about, tell people the range of things you work on.
James of all trades. Well, first of all, it started about 12 years ago. I was in the club business, did restaurants and stuff, and woke up one morning, wanted to spend more time with my kids. So I developed this idea of being a handyman, per se. That's how it all started. And I had this little Z3 BMW and didn't have a truck or anything. I went to go get some basic tools. And I put a little ad out on Craigslist. And I started James of all trades. That's the long story short of it. The company now has blown up. I got about 6 to 8 guys that work for me. Incredible people. Very fortunate. And we do everything. We're a one-stop shop. So if you call me, if you're a realtor or a homeowner even, you give me a call and we do it all. Whether it's electrical, plumbing, rotten wood, tile work, roofing. So you don't have to make several calls to get the job done. You make one call and I get it done.
So it's your one-stop shop.
Yep.
James of all trades.
Yes, sir.
And so we're going to talk to how people can get a hold of you because you do a lot, but you have a team of people that work for you. You deal with a lot of things. You deal with punch list stuff.
Yes, sir.
Which is awesome. But one of the things, and I'm going to start with the inspection report because every buyer and seller is going to have to deal with an inspection report at some time. And typically, the inspector comes in and listen, I respect what inspectors do because they got a job to do. They have to do it. They're trying to keep their license, which means they have to report everything.
That's true. That's true.
Right.
Going into that, these guys and women, they go in, they do the inspection report. But the problem I have with that, it could be something so minor. You have a first-time home buyer, let's say.
Yeah.
And the inspection report says there's a light fixture that is not working properly or does not turn on. Oh, it could be a major electrical problem.
Right.
When 9 out of 10 times, it's a light bulb. It's a light bulb. And we're scaring these first-time home buyers in those types of situations.
Right. Well, in fairness to the inspector, he's not there to check your light bulbs.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the fairness. I mean, that's not his job.
Right.
His job is not to go, hey, let me replace this light bulb and see if that works. He's just reporting what he sees.
What he sees, at the house.
Right. So I love it. It's a great start because we talk about the light bulb change, but there's probably a lot of things on the inspection report that are kind of similar to that, where it's not major.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what you got to keep in mind when you're buying a house is what's the most important thing. What's, what I tell people to look at on inspection reports is the roof, the crawl space. Those are important elements. If there's something wrong with the roof or rotten wood outside, don't worry about small light fixture problems. Don't worry about, minor settling cracks over a doorway. That's not urgent. That's cosmetic.
Okay. All right. And I think I want to get to some of these different pieces because, people will say, the inspector takes a look at the visual of the roof. It used to be when I first got into real estate that actually some inspectors would actually go
get up on
the roof.
Right.
They would actually get up. And then, of course, liability insurance, as
Correct.
you said, visual inspections.
Now
right?
they have drones.
Some do.
Yeah.
Some do have drones, and they'll take a visual inspection of it. And age of the roof, that's a problem. I get it. Because, as the roof gets older, we just had our roof replaced. I get it. That can happen. But sometimes it's just a shingle or two.
Correct.
Or right. Or what are some other little things that happen in a roof?
Boots. That's a very common one. They'll have cracks around the roof boots. In addition to that, gutters. If you're talking about roof stuff, I think of gutters. Not being cleaned.
Talk about that. We don't, we have gutter guards.
Yeah.
Right, which are pretty easy to deal with. You just kind of wash.
As long as there's not a lot of pine trees.
Yeah, it's we do, and we have to have somebody blow them
out. Exactly.
Right, blow those out.
People forget about that though. Just because you have gutter guards, you still got to get them blown out.
Right.
Especially if you're in an area with a lot of pine needles and pine trees and stuff.
I think the gutter is one of the least thought about and looked at.
Gutters, getting your gutters clean is so important, because if water continues to get behind the gutter, causes rot, on your fascia. So it's so important, get your gutters clean.
Well, here's the thing. Obviously, if you see a small tree growing out of your gutter, you probably need to.
It's time to get your gutters clean.
It's probably time to get.
I wouldn't wait until you see a small tree, though.
but
I see it all the time.
But we do, because what happens is, we right now we're in a bunch of heavy rains.
Right.
And if you have a new roof put on, right, there's always some debris.
Yes.
From the roof stuff that will come off the rain, and it will roll down into your gutter, and it will build up in the bottom of your gutter.
Right.
And if you have trees, there's leaves that will eventually decompose and turn into stuff. And you don't know how quickly that buildup.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, it literally can happen overnight.
Right.
And especially like what you're saying, if you're in an area where there's a lot of rain, this happens, and people sometimes don't look up. You have to look up.
Well, and you can't always see on the other side of the gutter, right?
Right.
But what are some telltale signs that you would say, okay, listen, I know you don't want to maybe get up on a ladder, because maybe you have issues. Older people don't like
exactly.
Right, or you don't have a ladder. What do you ask people?
Well, I recommend, first of all, if you see water coming over the gutter,
right. Okay, there's
probably
a good one.
time to get your gutters clean. But typically, I tell people, try to get your gutters clean at least 2 times a year.
Okay,
at least, at bare minimum.
Yeah,
and that just depends. Are you in a high wooded area? Do you have a lot of trees? If you have more trees around the house, then you're going to probably have to do it 3 times a year.
Right.
It's so important. It'll save you money in the long run, because that water gets behind there. It just causes all kinds of issues.
Okay, let's move inside the house with some common things that, you could probably do anyway, that they don't need to call you for, that they see on the inspection report, like changing the light bulb.
Right, exactly.
Is there some other things that
minor stuff? I mean, sometimes I get, I'll go through the inspection reports and I'll tell them how to do something. If it's something basic, I say, hey, why don't we focus on this? I can walk you through this.
Right.
It might be even a running toilet, something very minor. It comes up a lot on inspection reports. Probably 8 out of 10 times it's just a flapper.
Right. Yeah.
That costs you $5.
Yeah.
It's literally, I could teach anybody how to put it in. It's a little chain with a rubber flapper that goes over a hole, and you put it right on and you're done.
Yeah.
So
it's by the way, $3.84 will get
Right.
you another rubber flapper.
Exactly.
Right. But again, the inspection report will say toilet's not flushing appropriately.
Yeah, toilet's not flushing properly, or toilet's running, and people panic over this stuff. You know, I see it all the time. And, you know, it's the minor stuff. Don't let an inspection report scare you.
Yeah.
You know, it's there to help you. It's not there to scare you.
Right.
You know, and you got to keep that in mind.
Yeah. I think what happens here, and I know you see it because people get this thick inspection report, right? And then when they start calculating costs in their head, right? Or they use some sort of online
stay away from that stuff. Yeah, it's like being it's like when you get sick, let's say, and you try to diagnose yourself. Right. You have a cold, and all of a sudden you have stage 5 cancer, and you're like, "What the hell just happened?"
Right.
So I get it. You want to research it. There's some things you could do that for, but don't let it scare you. You know, get a professional in there that knows what they're doing, and
and I think
walk you through it.
There's a psychology to it, right? We anchor on problems rather than solutions.
Correct.
Yeah, that's just what that's just what we do. Is we anchor on the problems, and whenever we anchor on problems, we inflate the cost of
it. Correct.
That problem, and so often it's not nearly as expensive as what we might want to think.
100%, and you got to know who you're dealing with. I mean, I see prices all the time. People call me up and they'll get a quote, and I'm flabbergasted at what some of these contractors charge.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy.
Right.
I mean, I sit there, I'm like, what? No, I'm not going to charge you that. I feel guilty.
Right.
But I see that all the time.
Yeah. This idea of the inspection report, and what we're really asking you to do is we're asking you to, okay, first of all, calm down. You get the inspection report. There's going to be a ton of items on it, because
and it could be overwhelming.
Right. Well, but that's what the inspector is supposed to do. The inspector is supposed to find all sorts of things.
Right.
He's not there to replace. He's not there to contract. He's not there to change it out. That's your job.
Right.
Right. Before you panic, call you.
Right. Just give me a call. Give me a call. Just call me.
Just call.
If you have a question about something, even before we get really into it, just give me a call.
Right. Because it may not, first of all, it's more than likely not as expensive as you think it is.
Correct. And
the other thing is, it may be something you can do yourself. You just don't know you can.
Yeah. I mean, you got to try it. You know, the stuff I would stay away from is electrical stuff.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know,
electrical, plumbing.
Right. Plumbing. That's what was my next thing.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. You want to get a professional in there that knows what they're doing.
Yeah. And work from there. So when you are looking at major issues, right? Okay, if you were to say, okay, here are my top 3 major issues that you really want to focus on more so than the minor issues, is there a top 3?
Roof, crawl space, and I would go with probably roof, crawl space, and plumbing. I mean, you could throw electrical in there too. The reason I say plumbing, because, in the early stage, back in the late 70s, early 80s, we came up with this polybutylene.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which everybody panics about.
Right.
By the way,
panic about it. But once again, relax. There was a class action lawsuit about it. But there's different ways. You don't have to go in and replumb the entire house. Right. This was a fitting issue, blowing fittings and stuff. So there are ways around that. That's another thing we were talking about, panicking. Don't panic over that.
Right.
We have other solutions that aren't going to cost you $15,000, $17,000.
Yeah.
We have there's new fittings out there that we can change things up, and it would cost you maybe $2,000.
Right.
So that's a good example because that's another reason people panic.
Yeah, because they hear the word polybutylene.
Yep.
And because, there was this lawsuit.
Correct.
We anchor on, it's polybutylene. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Oh my
exactly.
gosh. Then this house, I can't buy this house.
Right.
But it's not replacing it. It's
Correct.
the fittings that were the bad part of it. I want to go to the crawl space.
Yes.
Because people will go, well, the inspection report said there was moisture in the crawl space.
Okay. First of all, we live in Raleigh, North Carolina. I could go in any crawl space and find moisture. 100%. You will find moisture in every crawl space unless it's sealed. Now, sealed crawl spaces, they are amazing, but they also are about $12,000 to $15,000 to seal your crawl space. What I recommend, open your vents during the seasons. You should open your vents.
Okay. There's been so much controversy over this.
Yeah.
Over when to open or close vents. You're the expert. What's the rule?
Okay. So
what's the rule here?
That's another funny thing because with that, you also got to remember we're in high humidity area. So it's really here. It's very tough that we wait till the end of spring. We close them during the spring and summer, and then open them. Oh, actually, I got it reversed. During the fall, we open them. During the fall, we open them, and then wintertime, keep them open so you could get air in there circulating. Sorry, I had it backwards.
And then in the spring and summer, shut them down.
Shut them down.
Okay.
So because you want to keep that high humidity out of there.
Right.
So because what that humidity causes, when you got humidity and you got hot, it creates fungal growth.
Right.
And that's another thing. Don't let fungal growth scare you. 9 out of 10 times, it's not black mold.
Right.
People, do all this.
They hear mold or fungal growth and they jump again. They jump right to the worst thing, which is the black mold. Yeah.
Right. So I see that all the time because people go, oh my God, there's mold in crawl space. We treat it. We do that as well.
Right.
We go in with a product. We basically call it bleach. It's just like mold in a house or in a bathtub or whatever.
Right.
You just want to kill it.
Yeah. The crawl space thing has always been a source of contention because people will go, well, what about the vapor barrier?
You want to have a good vapor barrier because moisture comes in from under the ground, comes up, and the vapor barrier keeps it down. Right. To layman's terms. Good vapor barrier, make sure everything's, and occasionally check it or get somebody over there to check it. A crazy thing, I was selling my first home here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I never went in my crawl space. I had, when we moved in, I put some bikes under there. Right. I didn't check my crawl space for 5 years. We put the house on the market. I'm like, I better take a look at it because the inspector was coming. And it had 6 inches of water in the crawl space. Oh, no. Because we didn't realize that we had a real bad drainage problem in the backyard. So I highly recommend just stick your head under there. I'm not saying go under there, but you want to check it. A lot of people are scared of crawl spaces because of spiders, snakes, and whatever. Right. Yeah. So, well, if you have those fears, again, call you. Right. Give me a call. If you're a little uncomfortable getting in there, let me call. I can tell you a lot of stories about spiders and snakes and crawl spaces. Yeah. Listen. When you have the molting of a 6-foot black snake that shows up in your crawl space, right? I'll tell you something. I was working on crawl space. It was the first time I started my business, and I had a headlamp on, and my headlamp flew off. I mean, it just slipped off my head and fell on the floor, and it put a shadow. The spider was probably like this big, but the shadow, the light hit the wall. I thought it was like it scared the hell out of me. It really did scare. That's a true story. That's it scared the death out of me.
Yeah, well, again, you're somebody who's a professional who does this, and there are things that when you go under there that you don't know, you don't expect. And I've crawled under crawl spaces,
Right.
And I'm 6'4"-ish, a little taller, and
Just a little bit. I'm 5'6".
So I crawl under that crawl space, right? Which is I'm crawling. When you get towards the back, you may be stooping, but then you're on all fours, right? Well, you recognize that if you come face to face with another critter, whatever,
and you're all the way in the back,
you can't get out.
No, you can't get out fast.
You can't get out
You're
fast.
army crawling it out.
You are moving as quickly as you can. So it's sometimes, when you want to have your crawl space, I really recommend you. Okay, you may not be able to get to all accesses or all points of the crawl space. Get a hold of you.
Yeah, 100%.
Come in and let us do, because you're used to that type of thing. I'm going to shift to the first time home buyer.
Yep, let's do it.
Because there's another group that panics a little bit.
Oh.
It's their first home. And I get it. And I understand the psychology, right? It's your first home. And
it's one of your biggest.
It's your biggest personal investment ever.
Your life, right?
Right. And it's your first home. You want everything to be perfect. You do.
I could take you through a brand new house. You could buy a brand new construction, and there'll be a problem,
right?
Even with new construction. What I try to tell people all the time: do not let things scare you. Ask questions. I see it. Another thing I see happen all the time: the first time home buyer, and even people that have bought homes before, they worry about the cosmetic stuff. And that's where there's an issue, because I'll get back during the diligence. Realtor will send me over the report. I go and I'm looking through it. I'm like, they're worried about this crack in the wall, above a door, which is it's a settling crack. And I'm like, you got to worry about the roof boot that has cracks in it, where water can get into the cracks of the roof boot and cause you major problems inside the house. So that's where that's another area. Call me and ask me, hey, James, we just purchased this house. This is the inspection report. What do you suggest, being the professional, we should get repaired
first
versus the cosmetic stuff? Yeah, it's a phone call. I'm not going to charge you for it.
Right.
My estimates are free, no matter what. And I'll be honest with them. This is what you need to focus on.
Well, okay, let's think together through this, because it struck me that when you walk into the house and you're a first-time home buyer, right, you only see what your eyes see. Right?
Correct.
And the last thing you're thinking about is what's happening in the attic space and what's happening in the crawl space. Right. And you're really not paying a whole lot of attention to what's on the outside of the house.
Yep.
You're just looking at that settling crack.
Right.
And that's just that thing. Again, I'm going to call it anchoring. You're anchoring on the settling crack.
Correct.
Oh my gosh, this is a major problem.
Structural issue.
Right.
I see it all the time.
And houses settle.
100%.
I'm sorry. Every house settles.
Every single one.
It doesn't matter how many pilings to put on. It's going to settle. Right.
Our ground moves, and it settles.
And they focus on what they see, but the major problems are generally what you're not paying attention
to. Right.
Right. So let's talk about some of the major things that you should be paying attention to as a new home buyer.
Yep.
So where do you like to tell folks to start, or where do you like to start when it comes to looking for major things?
Your siding around your house, your trim around your house. I see that a lot of times. What people will do is they're so worried about the inside of the house to appear, beautiful and, what they want in their mind. And what they forget about there'll be some rotted siding on the inspection report, rotted trim. They'll say, well, we'll get around to that. Let's wait. I'll go ahead and do the estimate. Let's say, for example, it's $2,500
for the wood rot.
for the wood rot,
Okay.
wood rot, trim rot, caulking missing, that type of thing. What happens is they call me 6-7 months later.
Right, because they want you to work on the other stuff.
Yeah, get all the little small stuff that's cosmetic.
Right.
Keep in mind, cosmetic. And so they'll call me back in 7 months. Hey, we want to do the wood repair and the wood rot and trim rot. So I'll go out there. I'm like, it's going to be $3,200. Well, wait, you gave me an estimate back. Yeah, but with all the weather that we had, rain coming in, snow, whatever, it did more damage.
Right.
So your roof, your exterior is more important, I would say, than your interior of the house. And people forget that.
Well, here's the thing. If you don't take care of the outside, it is going to create a problem
inside. 100%.
Right.
Because, think about a roof leak. You get the roof leak. It goes through the attic.
Right.
So then it comes through your ceiling of your house.
Right.
And that's a pain in the ass when you got to paint the entire ceiling.
Right. Well, and you may not see that roof leak for months before it shows up. Right.
And it's just because of that plumbing boot on top of the house that had the small crack in it that you were like, we'll get around to, but we're worried about the settling above a door.
Right. And we want you to paint the crack or fill the crack and paint it.
Yep.
Right. Is what they get more concerned with.
Right.
And I think this is the thing that I want to caution, not just first-time home buyers, anybody who's buying a home. We get that you're excited about the home. We want you to be excited about the home. We really do. It's not that but as he keeps saying over and over, relax, right? Let's go focus on what's important.
Right.
And listen, unless you do what you do, you probably don't know what's most important.
Right. That's true. And that's why I said, give me a call.
Right.
And I can walk you through it. I'm going to tell you what's important, what, you can wait on this, but this, you need to, look at the areas we keep talking about.
Well, and as you made a great point here, the longer you wait, the more expensive it's going to get.
100%. 100%.
And those major issues multiply a whole lot faster than the cost of what it's going to do for the cosmetic stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yes. 100%.
Right. Because as that issue gets more serious, the cost to repair it becomes more expensive.
Serious. Right.
More expensive.
Very.
And so, we have to change our thinking in terms of, okay, I can't just count on what I see. I need to focus on what major is and what I don't see.
Correct.
Which almost is why for you is to almost hand you the inspection report, because there is some good information for you that if he sees wood rot on the outside,
right,
or if he says, I'm questioning the boot,
right,
because visually I'm questioning it. I'm not sure, but I'm questioning it. You can actually go and say, okay, this is really a problem.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
And by the way, you're right. If I repair this now, it's $2,500.
Right.
You wait 6 months from now and we get rain.
Correct.
It could be 35.
Right. Oh, and it could go quick.
And that's what I'm saying. It can happen really
quick,
fast.
Really quick.
Right. And so, make sure it comes down to something I learned years ago. It's called the Eisenhower windows. And there's these 4 windows. And one is, the window is what's urgent and what's important, sits up in this corner, right? And then you have what's urgent but not important, what's important but not urgent, and then what's not important, what's not urgent. Bringing you out there to find out this is what's urgent and important, right? Yes, this is urgent, but not necessarily important.
Right.
This is important, but not necessarily urgent, right? And by the way, the cosmetic stuff isn't important and isn't urgent.
Yes.
So let's readjust how we're thinking here, because I think that's really what you want people to do. And then if they don't know, bring me out. Right. I'll help you diagnose what's urgent and important.
Right. I'll tell you the difference between urgent and important.
Yeah. See, that's, I think, is so critical for you. Is there any other things that you see in the course of your work that you've done for all these years that either get blown out, overblown or underblown that you see? Is there some additional things that you
going back to settling cracks, and even in the foundation, I see it all the time on reports. There'll be a settling crack in the foundation. They were like, "Oh, we need to get structural engineer in. The whole house is falling down." And I'm like,
Right.
"No, it's not going to fall down.
Right.
It's a settling crack." When a crack becomes over a quarter of an inch, then I recommend
Good point.
getting a structural engineer in there, because you can have some issues once it gets over. Once again, it's not something to freak out about.
Right.
Get the structure. I mean, you're buying a house that's $450,000 and you're worried about paying $500 for a structural engineer come out. Go ahead and pay the $500.
Right.
It just makes sense.
Yeah, you're spending $600,000-$700,000 on a house.
Right. I mean,
Spend
even
the
$150,000.
Right. Spend the $500.
Right. Spend it
if you're really concerned about it.
100%
to get that done. You've been outstanding. This has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed this. I hope you have.
Yes, I have. This is my first podcast.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
I'm learning a lot. So
good. Well, we're going to have to do this again.
Yes, I would love to.
This is a lot of fun. Yes. So here's what I do for you, to help you out too. Yeah. People want to get a hold of James of all trades. What's the best way they can do that? Just give me a call. I'm always
What's
available.
That number? It's 919-449-8010.
Okay. Here's the rule in podcasting and radio and TV, right? You have to say the number more than once. So what's that phone number again?
919-449-8010. And just give me a call. I'd be glad to help you any way I can, even if it's just to answer a simple question or an how-to. Can you tell me how to do it over the phone? We can FaceTime or whatever, and I'd love to help you.
Okay, so is that number also textable? Can people text that?
Yes, you can text me at 919-449-8010. I think I'm getting used
You got it. You're getting it now. Now you're getting it now.
No.
Is there an email that people could reach you at?
Yes, you could reach me at services@jamesofalltrades.net.
Okay.
.com was not available. Somebody else got it in Chicago with the same name.
So it's services at jamesofalltrades.net.
That's
N-E-T.
correct.
Okay.
Yes. N-E-T. Very important.
Very, very important. This has been cool, man.
Thank you, Jay, for having me.
This has been a lot of fun.
I appreciate it.
Stay with us. We can close out. Hey, folks, it's a show. You know what I say to you every week? You know what? You had a lot of choices. You chose us. I really do appreciate you doing that. And, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Watch the show. Wherever you listen to the show by podcast, why not give us a 5-star review? We love it. It helps us out. Also, contact us. We'd love to know what you'd like to talk about. And we'd love to bring on a guest on that would help you. As I say to you all over the world, you know what that is. Ciao, everybody.